Hello. So today's video is a little bit random and it is brought to you by very serendipitous timing. So I was thinking about making a video about the things that I use to track or review, find media, that sort of thing. So I have apps that I use for books, movies, TV shows, and I just found one that I'm starting to use for podcasts. And so I was like, well, I can go through those, but I wasn't sure that was enough of a video really. And then yesterday, someone on the mini immersion Discord that I'm friends with on Instagram as well, their Instagram is right here, posted that this website called Natively has a Spanish beta program. So this is a website that is kind of known for Japanese media tracking for language learners. And they also have Korean, German, and Spanish in beta. And so I was like, well, this is perfect because this brings the whole thing together. So first we'll go through the apps that I use individually, and then I'll talk about Natively, but there will be timestamps below if you're only interested in specific things. So the app that I use for books is called Storygraph. It is kind of an alternative to Goodreads, which is owned by Amazon and really not very maintained. Like, they don't really seem to do anything with it. Storygraph is very cool. They have many different features. They're bringing out new things all the time, improving it all the time. Obviously, the more people use it, the better it will be because it will have more books added to it, more reviews, that sort of thing, but it is quite comprehensive. I do have to add a lot of my Spanish books because obviously English is the dominant language on an English app, but it is quite easy to add books once you get used to it, and it is actually more flexible with what books you can add than Goodreads is, because I have tried to add books on Goodreads that were exclusive to other platforms, and Amazon does not like that, and so they don't let you. So anyway, I love Storygraph. It lets you do a lot of really, really cool stats and comparisons and everything for free. There is a pro version, but the free version is going to be completely overly sufficient for the vast majority of people. So it gives you all kinds of stats on your reading, what languages you're reading in, what formats you're reading in. You can track your currently reading. It lets you have like an owned library. I don't use that function. I just put them on my to read pile. But it does let you track like your owned books, how many of your owned books you have read, that sort of thing. You can do reading challenges. You can do read-alongs and buddy reads, which are two different but very similar features that are really cool. I will be using the read-along feature for my book clubs on my Patreon because I think it is really, really great. I highly recommend Storygraph if you do really any reading. I think that it is a great service. Username on all of these is going to be Joe Renee Reads. So moving on to movies, I use letterboxd, as do many people. This is kind of cinephiles, that's what it's called. So a lot of like highbrow movies and that sort of thing, but also any movies. So I use this to track all the movies that I watch, whether they're in English or other languages, but then I also use the lists feature to track the Spanish movies that I watch and what my favorite Spanish movies are. So these are, as of so far, my favorite Spanish movies of all time. And then I have a Spanish watched in 2023 list, and then I will, once I have watched a Spanish film in 2024, I will start a Spanish watched in 2024. Hopefully I will be starting a French watched in 2024. The other thing that is really good in here is that you can do a watch list where you can save movies that you want to watch. Like, you just hear about it somewhere and you don't want to forget about it, so you just pop it in here really quickly. And the other thing that can be really good is other people's lists. Find lists from specific countries, of languages, of best of all time, whatever. Yeah, I definitely don't use Letterboxd to its full potential, but I enjoy it. And for series, I use serializd. There are apps that combine the function of letterboxd and serializd, so you can find those. I like these two apps particularly and how you added these shows and I already knew people who were using Letterboxd, so I wanted to see their reviews. So anyway, serialized is for anything that is serialized, short, limited series or long, ongoing shows. So very similar to Letterboxd in how it is set up. And so I do the same thing here where I am tracking any and all shows that I watch, which mostly are in Spanish, but not entirely. And then I have a list of my favorite Spanish shows of all time and my Spanish watched in 2023. Again, same story here where you can find lists that other people have made that collect different things. I would say Serialized doesn't have as many users, it seems like, as Letterboxd, so it's a little bit less complete, but still, I like it. I like the app a lot. It's very, very easy to use. When you are watching a show, you can either track it episode by episode. So like you can see here I've watched episode 3, or you can just track a season at a time, just mark it as watched. I find this feature helpful if I am watching in multiple places on different devices. I remember where I was, but anyway, so this is Serialized. And then the one that I just started using for podcasts, so I'm not 100% sure, how useful this is going to be, but I found that I would listen to a few episodes of a podcast here and there and then kind of forget about it, and that's totally fine, that's natural, and it's not that I want to stop doing that, but particularly when I'm making my Spanish media diaries, sometimes I'm not, remembering what podcasts I've been listening to, and so I just wanted a method to kind of sort them, and this seems like a fairly decent way to do that. So this is a free website. Again, I'm using this to track all of my podcasts, not just Spanish ones, but I am using the list feature mostly. So I have my Spanish recommendations list, podcasts that I have completely finished, which is not very many because finishing podcasts is kind of difficult. List of podcasts that I want to start but haven't. Spanish podcasts that I am still listening to, actively listening to. Podcasts that I have bailed on. And then podcasts that I'm not currently listening to, but I want to pick them back up, basically. So, for now, that's kind of what I have set up here. I don't listen to podcasts through this platform, so I don't really feel the need to follow the podcasts or anything like that. But I do want to start reviewing podcasts, as I finish them and that sort of thing on here, to make this a better platform as well. So those are the 4 things that I am using right now to track reading, my watching, and my listening. So now we will talk about the natively website. Cool. So this is kind of an all-in-one tracking thing, and like I said, Spanish, German, and Korean are in beta testing or beta mode, whatever, and Japanese is fully supported. So this is my profile. So what I have currently reading, a lot of these I just added, so some of them will not be showing up fully yet, but because this is in, beta mode, obviously, there's not a ton of books or films or anything added on here yet. There's almost 300 books and about 136 movies and shows. Obviously, if you start using this, you'll have to be patient with the fact that we are helping create this essentially, and I think that's cool, and I have no problem with it, and they made it really, really easy to add things. So looking at the videos here, a lot of these I added. I do want to watch La Casa de las Flores, so you can do set as wishlist, set as watching, or set as finished, owned, blah, 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 watched with English subtitles. And so I am going to wishlist that because I do want to watch it. I'm also going to wishlist La Casa de Papel because I want to start that over. Okay, so I have watched Altamar. So I'll show you what it looks like when you request an item. If you're requesting a movie or a TV show, they use this search thing, which is very easy. So you just search it, and then if it finds the thing that you want, you pick it, put what you want it to be added as in your library, so you can exclude it from your library. Wish list, watching, finished, owned, stopped, watched with English subs. And they do get approved manually, I think, so you can see it on all of your stuff, but it's not searchable until that happens. So I actually technically am already watching this, so I'm gonna do that. That is how that works. And then books, you do have to find the item on Amazon Spain and then copy that in here, and then from there it is automatic. So it's not too difficult by any means. You can just get 2 tabs open and go back and forth. So the other aspect of this beyond tracking that is very, very cool, which again is not fully developed because people have just started using it in Spanish, but I think it's very well developed in Japanese, is that it gives you a difficulty estimate for the items. So let me look at some books here. So what happens is when you add something, you have the option to temporarily assign it a level, and it kind of gives you like a short explanation of like upper intermediate, lower intermediate, whatever. And then once you have marked things as watched or read, you have the option to grade those items. So I've only done a few. We can go in and do some more. So you're picking which of these 2 things is harder. So Aura is definitely harder. I would say La Sombra del Viento. I don't know. I would say they're the same. I end up skipping them sometimes because I really don't know sometimes. You know, it's very hard to gauge. So obviously you could keep doing this for a very, very long time. I've added like 100 books, 100 some books at this point. So that's a lot of comparisons to make, but I'm just going to try to go in sometimes and periodically do some, because obviously that makes the whole service better if people can get really good quality difficulty ratings. So I think that that is a really cool feature and will be really, really helpful once a lot of people are using the platform. So if your target languages are Japanese, Korean, German, or Spanish, then this is very exciting. So there are also forums and things, and I've seen that they are doing book clubs and that sort of thing, so that's something to look at as well. Could be very cool. And I like this little summary here, although it's kind of terrible to see how many TV seasons I've watched just of Spanish TV. It's kind of disturbing, but you know, whatever. But definitely check this out, and remember to be patient with it since it is new. But I would love to hear if you use any other platforms to track your books, movies, podcasts, whatever the case may be, how you feel about them, etc. And I will see you in the next video.